Social psychology addresses one of the most fundamental questions in human life. How are our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors shaped by the presence, real or imagined, of other people? Every interaction we have, whether with family, colleagues, patients, or strangers, occurs within a social environment that subtly, and sometimes powerfully, influences how we perceive the world and how we act within it. This field helps us understand why people conform, why prejudice persists, why authority can override personal conscience, and why acts of compassion can emerge even in difficult circumstances. Social psychology is not merely theoretical. It has profound implications for healthcare, ethics, leadership, education, and everyday decision-making. To dive deeper, let's start by defining social psychology. Social psychology is the scientific study of how individuals think, feel, and behave in social situations. Unlike personality psychology, which focuses on stable traits within individuals, social psychology emphasizes the interaction between the individual and the social environment. Importantly, social psychologists examine how people interpret social information, how beliefs and attitudes are formed and changed, how social pressures influence behavior, often without conscious awareness. Social psychology relies on empirical research and experimental methods to study phenomena such as conformity, obedience, persuasion, prejudice, aggression, and helping behavior. These studies reveal that human behavior is often far more situational than people intuitively believe, thinking, feeling, and behaving in social contexts. Social psychology rests on the idea that human cognition, emotion, and behavior are deeply interconnected with social context. Let's look at the idea of thinking as social cognition. Humans constantly interpret the actions, intentions, and motivations of others. These interpretations are influenced by stereotypes, assumptions, prior experiences, and cultural narratives. Often, we are unaware of how much these mental shortcuts shape our judgments. We need to look at the idea of feeling. Feeling, social emotion. Emotions such as shame, guilt, pride, fear, and empathy are inherently social. They arise in response to how we believe others see us or how we relate to others. Social environments can amplify or suppress emotional responses, sometimes dramatically. We need to look at the idea of social action or behavior. Behaving, social action. Behavior is rarely a simple reflection of personal values. People may act differently depending on who is present, who holds authority, and what norms are perceived to be in place. Social psychology demonstrates that good people can behave unethically under certain conditions, and that ordinary people can also act heroically. The influence of social situations, groups, and cultural norms also contributes to social psychology. One of the most important contributions of social psychology is the recognition that situations often matter more than individual character. Social psychology looks at social situations. Contexts such as emergencies, classrooms, hospitals, or workplaces shape expectations and constrain behavior. Situational factors can influence decision-making even when individuals believe they are acting independently. Social psychology also looks at groups. Humans are inherently social beings. Group membership influences identity, loyalty, conformity, and conflict. Social psychology explores how group dynamics affect attitudes toward outsiders, decision-making quality, and moral responsibility. Social psychology also looks at cultural norms. Culture provides the unspoken rules that govern behavior. Norms define what is acceptable, respectable, or taboo. Social psychology examines how cultural values influence concepts of self, authority, cooperation, and justice, and why misunderstandings arise across cultural boundaries. Understanding these influences is particularly critical in healthcare and ethical contexts where professional judgment must be exercised amid institutional pressures, cultural diversity, and moral complexity. As we move through this chapter, we will see how social psychology explains both the best and worst of human behavior. We will explore why people obey harmful commands, how prejudice forms and can be reduced, and what motivates altruism and moral courage. Ultimately, social psychology challenges a comforting myth that we are always fully autonomous moral agents. Instead, it invites us to become more aware of the social forces shaping us so that we can act with greater intention, ethical clarity, and compassion.